Yo, it's allhiphop.com. Jigsaw here with Jim Jones. What's good?
What's up, my brother?
Chilling. I see you just dropped a new album. You got the kitchen out here in the streets.
Yeah, we in the streets heavy right now.
Definitely. So let's talk about the album a little bit and what you want to put out there. You got a lot to say, and it's in the song. Some of it's in the interviews and talking with you.
Um,
Where you at right now with your career?
it's just where I'm at right now in the career is, I was just almost about to just like never come back to it. So, a couple things baited me, a couple things that I seen that I felt needed some clarification. Um, everything from my solo career to the diplomats. To the streets, to everything that we've done as a whole. Like we did some good things, we did some bad things. It's a lot of controversy surrounded around me and my niggas. But as far as the music in this kitchen, and I felt it was an urgency for the game to hear some substance. Um, I've been in this game for a long time, and I'm from the era where we sold the drugs, we didn't use them per se. That was the quote unquote slogan. And in today's society, it feels like these kids are okay with abusing hard drugs. Not to say that they ain't hustling, but it's kind of hard to hustle the same drug that you use, and sooner or later it's gonna catch up to you. And I watched this all before in the '80s, and as I seen the hustlers who were making big money and thought they could to abuse the crack substance and called it woolers and put it inside their weed, and it was very similar to how people use these ecstasies and these oxys and these perks and these scissors, and it all goes into that mode, and before you know it, you're gonna be a full blown fiend, and ain't no coming back from being a fiend. Not from what I've seen in my career and coming up in the hood. That type of a person was something that you never wanted to be like. You didn't want to be painted as a fiend in your neighborhood, or a fiend to the people you grew up with. It's very bad. So, and that's what it looked like we heading for. I mean, it may not look like it now because everybody's dabbing and having fun, and we all in the clubs and we all turned up and we too lit. But
Why,
we'll see
why
what
is that?
happens.
Some of these dudes that you start talking about are not young dudes either. Some of them are 30s, pushing 40, like, and then obviously you see the kids and stuff, but
I
it's a
mean,
cultural thing, not just
it's definitely a cultural thing, but for the dudes who's portraying this in their music, I mean, 9 times out of 10, they're making a shitload of money off of portraying this abuse of drugs. And these kids that are listening to it, I don't think they getting as much money as these artists are getting. So there's a big line. There's a big line to cross between following and setting the trend. And if you setting the trend about abusing drugs, that's a whole nother level. I mean, we all have our vices and stuff like that, and that's just something that I don't choose to do. I've always been scared of the outcome of what abusing hard drugs could do. But who am I to put rules to what we do? You know what I mean?
some people would say who.
You know what I mean? Who the
Jim,
fuck is Jim Jones to talk about somebody abusing drugs and all the bullshit that he's done and got into in his life? I'm just saying, I want my people to enjoy the money they make, not use the money you make on buying more drugs to satisfy your habit, because that's what's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get the drugs, get the bitches, have fun, hit the parties, do it all over again. I mean, sell the drugs, get the bitches, have fun, do the parties, and do it all over again, man.
You the drug, you the man, theoretically, obviously you don't sell drugs now, but given it, you turning people into fiends. Some
Um,
would say.
yeah, I mean, I've had a time in my life where I sold drugs. I sold numerous amounts of drugs. You can name it: crack cocaine, heroin, weed. I mean, whatever kind of made a dollar. And I've sold other things too that wasn't drugs. I'm just a hustler and things like that. So, yeah, people are right. I have sold substances that turn people into abusers where they're dependent on the drugs that I sell, and I'm not proud of that. That's not something that I want to glamorize, even though it's depicted in my music all the time. But that's because of these are the things that we want to. I need people to hear these stories and kind of see these stories as I tell it to them, so maybe they can learn from my experiences and not necessarily have to dive down that road and go through it themselves and then talking about like, damn, that's what Jim said in his song. I should have just listened to that nigga before I caught this 9-year bid.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I try to put a little bit of my life out there so people can kind of, you know.
And the other thing is, people don't notice is that these pharmaceutical companies are legally selling drugs. What do you
Oh
think
yeah,
of
you
that?
know the shit. I mean, alcohol is the leading drug in America today, whether people want to believe it or not. That's statistically. That's not me saying I think I'm smart shit. I'm telling you statistically, alcohol is the leading drug of abuse today. You know what I mean? And
True.
then we could go into everything else, but yeah, there's a lot of shitload of legal drugs that are out there that the kids are indulging or the people are indulging in. Perks, oxycodones, all those are prescription drugs and things like that. And you know, it's crazy out here nowadays to see how that goes on, and I can understand it because a couple times I've been in some type of pain and I might have to pop a perk. And that thing I had you on the wave, you'd be like, man, that nigga was feeling like mighty man out this shit. But you gotta, you know, it ain't for me, man. I'm not trying to get caught up in that, man. So, you know, this is what music is about, man. We came up, we used to sell the drugs, used to make the money, go party, and no different from what these youngsters are doing now. It's just, you know, the abusing is one of the main things that kind of bothers me.
The kitchen is vivid. It's crazy vivid. Like you feel like you in old New York again.
Hmm.
Which I haven't heard in a long time from an artist from the city. What got you in that space again to write such rhymes and put and paint that picture?
Just like I was telling you, man, we could live the good life all day. I could come in talking about the jets and the high rises and the $1 million homes and the ocean views and all that. But they know that's what we got access to. Of course, that's going to be in some of my music because that's the way I'm really living. But for the people that's out here hustling and got to get up and work every day to try to make a dollar, whether it's honest or it's illegal, you need a certain theme, you need a certain soundtrack to make you move in the morning, something that's going to make you hungry, something that's going to get you inspired to go out there and try to make a dollar. And the music that's always done that for me was the music that I just put out, as I used to listen to the Tupacs and the Jay-Z's and the Nas's and all these artists that was painting this picture of pain and struggle and hustle that we were going through in the hood. It just had me on my P's, man. You know, when you go outside, somebody got the box on and they pumping that. When you get in the car, that's the first thing you put on when you trying to bust a move. You go on OT, you got to find what album that's going to make you take that ride and make you, you know what I mean? It's just, and that's what I was trying to give back, the installation of that feeling of the hustle. Something that puts that fire beneath your ass to make you get up and make you want to go get a dollar, or make you want to go do something positive, or make you want to go get a job, or try to go get a check, make you want to go to college and get better grades. Like we was watching the game yesterday. LeBron came in pumping emotionless as he was singing "They'll Never Take Me Alive." That shit hit me real hard because this is exactly what I'm trying to tell you. When you get in them situations, you need that theme music that's gonna make you go in there and buy. Nothing is gonna stop it. If you pump some Jim Jones music, 9 times out of 10, I told niggas there's two things that was gonna happen yesterday. He was either gonna beat the socks off the Warriors or it's gonna be a big fight. There's only two ways out of that. You know what I mean? And that's what he did. And that's what I was trying to find for myself. Is that same music that I've been giving to people that makes them want to go out and go for this.
No doubt. You have a favorite song on there?
Man, I got a few favorite songs in it, but the song that kind of sticks out the most is "The Kitchen."
Okay.
It kind of has a little bit of everything in there, from the music to when I was hustling to few of the influential people that have been in my. It's a real good one. I like "The Kitchen." I mean, but I love the whole Kitchen. Like, you know, you put it in, you listen to certain songs, put you in certain moods. You got up tempo, you got down tempo, but for the most part, it's all dope boy music. It's all b boy music. Something that New York could definitely relate to. Something that you could just leave it on the corner, let it play, and people congregate around that and do what they need to do.
What do you think about New York hip hop now? We rap music here is in a weird space. Some would say, and others
Um,
would say not. You know what I'm saying? It's just a progression.
I mean, music is a complete circle. It goes around and around. It touches the West Coast, it touches the Midwest, it touches the South, it comes back to New York, and it seems, it took a long time for it to kind of start coming back to the New York direction, but it feels like it's actually coming back toward that direction. And you have Fat Joe making a hell of an effort right now with the All the Way Up record. You have 50 Cent starting to make music. You had the Bitch I'm the Man record. You got Jay poking himself in here as he just did the remix, and he did another song with Khaled and Future. You got Jim Jones back on putting pressure in the music game. You got Mano and Uncle Murder, who's making a hell of an effort with their project they did together, which speaks in volume because there's not too many artists that could sit down there and do music together, especially for a whole project, which I think is very dope. You know what I mean? So it just feels like New York is putting their best foot forward. I mean, above all, we're a town that everybody wants to be the king and wants to be on top. So that's where a lot of our problem lies when it comes to the music being out there the way we want it to be out there. But right now, it seems like a hell of an effort going on. You got Diddy just did the Puffy World Tour all over again, so that's gonna come with new music and this whole bad boy staff, a conglomerate that he has going on. It feels good, man. I'm proud to be from New York. I always have been. Like people know wherever I go, when people look at Jim Jones, they like New York or Harlem is in the building, and that's testament right there. I put my work in for that. You know what I mean? Like a lot of artists that will go around and people don't give a fuck who you is when you walk in the building. You gotta care where you from. You heard?